Welcome, everybody. And I have today basketball legend, uber Grateful Dead fanatic, humanitarian, best-selling author, and probably the greatest living example of positivity I know, basketball legend Bill Walton. Bill,
Hey now,
making
I'm
time.
Bill. I'm alive. We will get by. We will survive. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I met Tony D'Amelio 30 years ago. And ever since, my life has been a rocket ship just taking off through the universe.
We
and
look
I'm
the
just
same.
trying with everything I can to hold on. I love Tony D'Amelio. I love the D'Amelio Network.
Good God. We'll just stop right now. That's perfect.
We'll never stop.
How are things in sunny San Diego?
Things are fantastic here in San Diego. We're working super hard. We've got great leadership at the political level, the corporate support. COVID-19 is the single most devastating, fearsome, and challenging opponent that I have ever faced in my life. And I'm healthy while I'm going through this. So our family, Lori, my wife, our 6 children, our 14 grandchildren, and then all our in-laws and my entire family, we're all healthy. But health is a privilege. We work on it every single day. And with the privilege, though, comes the responsibility and duty to help ease the pain and lift the burden of those who are suffering so horrifically from the effects, the impact of COVID-19. So people who are sick, people who are dying, people who are alone, people who are isolated, people who are terrified, the mental challenges, and then the food and healthcare challenges. So we're working tirelessly, endlessly to try to help everybody out because I'm a team guy, and we are all in this together, and we are doing whatever we can to make other people happy, to make other people's dreams come true, to help people build lives, create their dream, and when necessary, to rebuild everything that has crumbled underneath us.
And you hit upon something. People are suffering mental health wise. It's really being sequestered is an issue. They feel a lack of a bit of hopelessness. And, you're a guy who's faced some incredible challenges, whether it's been your spine collapse, the broadcast challenges, breaking into the brand new career, the kinds of things that you faced could easily and have certainly been challenges that could have gotten you down, but you have a way, and I've seen it when I've been with you in person, you have a way of lifting everyone else up around you when you just walk in the room because they sense your positivity. And I gather that's what keeps you moving forward through all of those challenges. So if you had the best advice you could give to people who are just suffering a bit, what would it be right now?
Create a culture around you, Tony, that is full of joy and happiness and fresh love and cooperation and all the elements of team that go into making a unit, a squad, successful. Now, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. The culture that I grew up in, which was nurtured and fostered by my parents, greatest parents ever, zero interest in sports, never shot a basket with my dad, saw him run one time at the church picnic and fell over laughing. But my parents, they gave up their lives so that my dreams could come true. They were overwhelmingly positive and upbeat and optimistic in everything that they ever did. And that was our lives growing up. Remember, our parents, I'm a lot older than you, Tony, but our parents grew up through the Depression, through World War II. When times were tough, they were asked to go around the world and fight, put their lives on the line. Many of them died so that we could have the lives that we have today. The sacrifice that we're being asked to make is to stay at home, watch television, shop online, and eat takeout food. So one of the things that you'll learn in life is perspective and relativity and tolerance and patience. When I was a child,
right? You grew up around it. It was in your environment.
It was the happiest child. I had a wonderful childhood, a perfect child. We had nothing. Both my parents were working people. We lived paycheck to paycheck. But while we had nothing in terms of material goods, I had everything. I had books, music, radio, and I had a bicycle, and I had a skateboard, and I had a basketball. And then I found my very first coach who created this world of athletic participation and joy and being part of something bigger than you are as an individual. Now, he was the volunteer coach at the elementary school I went to in San Diego for 59 years. A volunteer, never took a penny for 59 years. When he died a few years ago, he's the richest guy I've ever known. And so that was the early childhood days. And then when I was 9 or 10, I found on my little transistor radio, I found Chick Hearn. Chick Hearn, the Laker broadcaster, the greatest broadcaster ever. And he just filled my world with joy and hope and love and peace and optimism and a sense of purpose, which was to get the job done. And I listened to Chick for his, I'm going to say that he, with the Lakers, let's see, 1962 to 2002, what's that, 40 years? A 40-year career with the Lakers alone. And I never missed a game because of how full of joy and life he really was. And then I had John Wooden in my life. And John Wooden was this remarkable human being, the spiritual force of nature. And every teacher and coach that I had as a child was a John Wooden disciple. Because John Wooden, he was really coming into his own late 50s through his 60s when I was coming up and going through the whole run. And here was this guy who was an English teacher by profession who happened to have young people under his supervision in the afternoon. And so I had these 4 foundational pillars that were all full of hope and joy. And then the music. Because while I grew up in a classical music household, I quickly transitioned to rock and roll. And you name it in the rock and roll in the 60s, and I was there. And it was fantastic. And every one of them were singing songs to me, for me, and about me. And I still listen to this very day, and music is such a powerful part of my life. Whenever I'm down, whenever I'm frustrated, whenever I'm beaten up, I always know to tell myself, because my life, Tony, has been defined by meteoric climbs to the top, all the way, followed immediately by a catastrophic health crisis, orthopedic challenges. I've had 38 orthopedic operations. I spent half my adult life in the hospitals. I've had a lot of time to think about this. And so I have learned over the course of these roller coaster up and down rides that when you're afraid, when you're anxious, when you're scared, when you're feeling up against it and you just can't see your way out, number one, turn the music on. Understand that those feelings are natural and normal. And you should be afraid, particularly with what's going on right now. This is devastating out there, and we just don't know how the future is going to play out. But I have chosen this life of uncertainty. I mean, that's the life of an athlete. That's the life of an entertainer, of a performer. Anybody who's on stage, that is a life of uncertainty. And there is nothing guaranteed about your next breath. And so when you're afraid, when you're scared, that's what you're thinking and what you're feeling. When you're looking for the confidence, when you're looking for the self-esteem and the sense of accomplishment, and you're looking for that power and that courage to go out and get going again, whatever it is you're doing, just start working. Start working at anything. Start working at organizational skills. Start working at leadership skills. Start working at knowledge. Start working at playing music. Do anything other than just sit there and think about it. Because when you just think about it, that's when it's just going to overwhelm you. Because this is scary stuff.
When you said, I've heard you say it in interviews, I've heard you say it in speeches, you talk about how John Wooden's advice has stuck with you to this day. And there are quotes that you constantly refer to and that are part of what you go to when you're looking for the resourcefulness to sort of handle a particular situation. And one of them that stuck out to me, because I was going through them, and let me just read it so I get it right. Things turn out best for those who make the best out of the way things turn out. What's that mean to you?
That means that you have to take what is there. We are responsible for our own lives. We are responsible for our own fun. We are responsible for our own problems. Now, that's on an individual basis, understanding that being a team guy, the strength of the team is the strength of the individual. But ultimately, you got to look at yourself and say, hey, man, I'm in charge here. I made this decision. I made this choice to be here, and I've got to live with those consequences. So when Coach Wooden, he would roll off these incredible maxims and mantras. He had a billion of them, a billion with a B, and they were always delivered perfectly. He loved the English language. He was an English teacher. Every word, every phrase, every punctuation mark was absolutely critical to him, every space, every breath. And so when he would say, Bill, things work out best for those that make the best out of the way things work out, I would scratch my head and I'd say, what are you talking about, you silly old man? Because I was Coach Wharton's easiest recruit. I became his worst nightmare, and I drove the poor guy to an early grave at 99. It wasn't until I left Coach Wooden's daily supervision that things dawned on me. I had the greatest childhood. I was 21 years old before I ever encountered anyone who did not have my best interest at heart. And then I joined the NBA and everything changed, and it was a whole new world out there. And everything that he told us over the course of life was something that came true later on, because we were all so young, and we thought he was like really old. We thought he was going to die. He was so old, and he was only in his 50s and his 60s. We called him the walking antique, but he was so prophetic. And he was so concerned. He took his job very, very seriously. So when he would say things like, be quick, but don't hurry. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Happiness begins when selfishness ends. Never mistake activity for achievement. And the worst things you could do for the ones you love are the things they could and should do for themselves. And then the one that he wrote for me on the day I graduated in June of 1974, 46 years ago. To Bill Walton, is the things you learn after you know it all that count. And so I live all these great lessons. And because he was a man who he loved to teach. He loved to make other people successful in life. And it was fantastic to witness the change in his life. Now, I didn't know him in the early days. He's 40 years older than I am. And so he's been dead for 10 now. Right. But here he was. He was the first great player in basketball. And when you're the player and you're the great one, your life is different. But then the further you get away from that position of being the greatest, being the top guy, the harder it is to have the impact and control that you're used to. And so then he became this remarkable teacher. And he spent all his time focusing on us. And he gave us everything he had. He took his responsibilities and duties and obligations very seriously. His challenge was to make us better at what we were doing, which was playing basketball, but mostly make us better human beings. And so here was this guy who ultimately transitioned into a person who drew his happiness in life from seeing other people succeed, particularly when it was accomplished in a team setting and there was acknowledgement to the help that was provided on the way. He was a happy, kind, generous, firm, loving, caring, concerned, strict, demanding, exacting, but he was fair and he made it fun, and we could not wait to get there every single day, because any moment spent with John Wooden, you felt like you just had a religious experience and you were healed and you were ready to go out and take on the world and let's go.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And that's the feeling that people have when they see you speak. Now, I know you love speaking, and here we are. We've been stuck inside for a couple of months now.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on right there. We're not stuck. Our lives are different. Our lives are different. And so one of the things that Coach Wooden always said was, hey, don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses. Let's do something about it. And so I have been busier than ever. Now, I'm not traveling every day. I'm on that road constantly. When things were going full speed, as they have been since my spine surgery, I've never been busier in my life. But now I've transitioned to a new world that is changing every single breath, and we have to learn how to make the best out of that. And I'm not going to sit here, whine, complain, and make excuses, and I'm not going to let you tell me that we're stuck. We're just different right now.
Forgive me, we'll rewind the tape then.
Turn the music on and let's
There we go. Cut. So what do you miss most about speaking? at this point? Because you're not in front of the audience live. So that is a difference that we're facing compared to where we were in March. So tell me what you missed most.
I miss the people. I miss the education that I get. I grew up in a non-business household. Now my whole life is about business. And so I'm just learning constantly. And so to be able to be with the corporate business philanthropic leaders of the world every single day, their team, their staff, their companies, their products, how they're building, how they're addressing their challenges, and to be right in there. I love the team. I love the group. I love being in the locker room. I love being on the bus. I love being in the huddle. I love being right out there for the center jump. I like being right out there when the president of the company says, and I have brought Bill Walton here today to talk to you guys about what's going on with our company and how we're going to get going forward. And so that's what I miss. And so how we get that back, how we get to the point where things are safe, things are secure, because ultimately, Tony, and I've lived this, health and family are everything. Yes, you got to have business. We got to keep it all going. The sustainability aspects of life with business and commerce and energy production and resource management and all the things we have to do every single day, those are critical. But that all is based on our health and on our family. And your family with me, I hope I'm part of your family. And the fact that we are a team together, what's happened right now is that the medium of communication has changed. And so it's no longer face-to-face. It's all technology right now. I look forward to the day because our world has always faced tough challenges. It defines who we are. In life, we have learned that who we are depends on what happens when things go wrong and what happens when the ball bounces the other way. What happens when your health fails? What happens when the foundation underneath you crumbles? And that's what's happened in our world right now. Because my world, your world, the D'Amelio Network world, that is life at the very top. The best of everything. But that celebration is built on an incredible foundation. I can go back to your beginning, Tony, when we first met. I can go back to when I was getting started. And I knew nothing, and there you were, and you were able to extend your hand and say, come on, let me show you this path forward. Well, you helped me build the foundation to become who I am today. Our foundation in our world right now has crumbled, and all the problems that we have, they've just been exacerbated by COVID-19. They haven't been created by it. They've been exacerbated. They've been expounded to the point where, wow, we've got a lot of work to do. So one of the things that we're really working on, besides getting food to the people and healthcare to the people who desperately need it right now, because with the devastating job losses out there, people are suffering, and I do not like suffering. And so getting food to the people, yeah, getting the medical care, getting the medical equipment to the doctors, and God bless these healthcare professionals who are risking everything every day by just going out there and saying, wow, this is my job. I chose to do this, and I've got to give it everything that I have. I may be afraid, I may be scared, I may be putting my life on the line, but that's what we do. That's the sacrifice, that's the honor, that's the discipline that goes into team success. And so what I'm also, though, working on is with all the people who are committed to making our world a better place on the backside. Because there will be a backside, there will be a change, there will be a future, and what that future looks like. So I am committed to all of that stuff, and I'm working constantly all the time on it, working on things like working conditions, working elements of the benefits and the aspects of a working person's life, the healthcare availability to everybody, and getting the opportunity for people to be healthy, and then the individual health that we all have to work on. Because I don't take my health for granted. I spend a lot of time every day working on my health, and that starts with nutrition, hydration, hygiene, but it also encompasses exercise. So I have to keep moving. I have to be in that water and stretch it all out. I have to be in that weight room and pump that iron and get it all going, all the things I can't do in my real life of limitations physically. And then when I do get a free nanosecond, Tony, when I do finally take a breath, I do go out on my bicycle. And I'm very lucky that I can still ride my bike. I'm very lucky that the CDC said going out and riding your bike by yourself is good for you. So keep doing it, and that's what I am doing. I look forward to the future. We will get by. We will survive. We are alive. Let's go.
There we go. You know, the other thing, you learn a lot when you go out and speak, but the other thing I know, because I've been with you on site when this happens, you tell the event planner up front, you're going to be the last guy out of the room, out of the ballroom. You're going to shut the lights. And I've seen you spend 90 minutes after a talk just chatting with people, getting photos, signing autographs. You are such a good, you love people. You love learning their stories. You love hearing them, what they've got to say. And that makes you incredibly special, Bill.
Tony, I get more out of it than anybody. I put everything I have into it, but I learn from every interaction that I ever have. Mm-hmm. And I have also learned to don't turn those interactions down. Some of the most interesting experiences in my life have been when I've been late, I've been rushed, I've been overwhelmed, I've been crushed, I've been tired, and all I want to do is just get to be by myself. And then that one person who you have no idea who it is will come to you with that golden experience, that golden story, that golden moment, and that ray of, yeah, this is what I was looking for, and it finally got here, and it gives me such a fantastic feeling of pride, of gratitude, but also the sense that this is all worth it. Because when I know as a child, I mean, I'm a very shy person by nature. I'm a loner. I'm a solitary type of guy. A lot of the things that I enjoy doing the most, riding my bike, working in the weight room, being in the pool, reading, listening to music, going to concerts with Lori. I just love the quiet space, the quiet solitude to where I can think and be alone. But the reality of my life is I'm in airports, I'm in huge ballrooms, I'm in hotels and on airplanes and massive crowds, concerts, people pushing and shoving all the time. But that sense that I get from those interactions when I meet those people, when I learn about their companies, when I learn about their challenges and their struggles, when I can see the pride that they have as parents, when I can see the joy and exhilaration that they have when they talk about how their company is just really doing well or how it's turned a corner from a tough period, I know and I can feel it that tomorrow is worth fighting for, and that's what I live for.
Well, it's obvious to me, who's worked with you as long as I have. I love to see it. It's totally genuine in you. And, you know, when I made my change career-wise, I decided that the most important thing was to work with people I truly admired, work with people who I felt I could look up to, and I could be part of their ability to get their message out to the world because I believed in them. And you are just top among all. You are just a wonderful human being. We are proud to work with you. I love everything that you bring to an audience, and I love your positivity, and it's a message that's especially needed right now. So thank you, Bill Walton, for being part of DN.
Thank you, Tony D'Amelio. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your knowledge, for your leadership. Thank you for your passion, your discipline, your sacrifice, your honor. Thank you for your patience. Mostly though, Tony, thank you for my life. I am the luckiest guy on earth. May the four winds blow you safely home. Good and happy everything forever, Tony. Shine on, heal on, carry on. D'Amelio Network on. Here we go.
That'll wrap it up.